This study can be done by anyone, as all of the written judgments of our courts are available either on its website or at the court library. The judiciary has absolutely nothing to hide and has attempted to be as transparent as possible. This study will reveal a decision-making that is independent and impartial, in spite of the unkind and spurious remarks by persons who should know better. Masters, registrars and magistrates discharge their duties with the required independence and impartiality. Sadly though, in our society, oral talk is considered more informative or authoritative than informed comment, and truth is always the casualty. Recently, much has been said and implied about the lack of independence and impartiality of our judicial officers. Such comments are misguided because they're not based on truth, but on old talk. This is unfortunate and unpatriotic. I urge restraint in this so-called silly season that is upon us now. I prefer to focus on protecting our country and the institutions that so essentially guarantee its freedoms, peace and prosperity. By all means, let the perpetrators be brought to justice, but we must protect and defend those against whom no sustainable accusations can be made. Our failure to do so will eventually be at our own peril, individually and collectively. Let me remind you that it takes years to build the credibility of an institution, but that credibility can be destroyed in the blink of an eye. I wish to emphasize that at this stage, I am saying that the public can and ought to have confidence in the administration of justice, so far as the independence and impartiality of the judicial officers are concerned. This is not to deny that there's merit in some other criticisms of the judicial system, so far as they relate to efficiency and expedition, and I will make some suggestions to improve these aspects later in this address. Let me therefore demonstrate how this past year has shown that our judges are capable of the highest standards of impartiality and independence. The Court of Appeal, no doubt agonizingly, has ruled against its own Chief Justice and has been upheld by 5 law lords of the Privy Council. Your Court of Appeal has quashed a conviction and sentence by the Chief Magistrate against a former Prime Minister and ordered retrial on the basis of apparent bias, and has done so explicitly in order, to quote the Honourable Justice of Appeal Warner, to keep the streams of justice pure. My friends, one of your judges has ordered, in the face of affidavit evidence from the head of the court administration, that the failure to provide wheelchair access to the Hall of Justice is in breach of the constitutional rights of disabled persons, and has ordered that this circumstance be remedied within 18 months. This decision sends a clear signal that courts are about justice and truth, and are not distracted by personalities. Indeed, the Court of Appeal, in 2 separate matters involving a former Prime Minister, has ruled in one instance in favor of and in the other against him. These decisions, to name a few, show in a most poignant way that your judges are at the best times fearlessly independent and impartial. I ask then, where is the old boys club in the judiciary? Judges who are prepared to rule against their own, against the very institution that sustains them, and to make decisions blind to the personalities who appear before them, do so out of a sense of duty and adherence to the oath they have taken, to decide without fear or favor, in order to ensure that the streams of justice remain pure. This is not to say that your judicial officers have not been found and will not continue to be found to be in error. That in itself is not a cause for concern. Citizens are entitled to a system of justice that is fair, not one that is infallible, for no infallible system of justice exists anywhere.